Good morning. I hope you are well. Today we're going to be talking about overwhelm. Now, there's a lot of people feeling this right now. I know, I've been feeling it too. We've had so much go on over the last few years. For us in Australia, we had a year of fires and a lot of people lost their homes. And then we've had 2 years of COVID where many of us have been, we've all been locked down. And our whole world has been disrupted. And recently where I live in Australia, there's been floods. And this amount of stress on our minds, on our bodies is not normal. And so many of us are in a state of overwhelm. So today I'd like to give you 3 tips to help you unravel this overwhelm. Overwhelm is a natural way of feeling, a natural way of being when we have too much on our plate, when we just have so much to do, whether it's work or jobs around the house or building a new home or sorting out flood damage, whatever it is, when we have too much to think about, too much to do, we go into overwhelm and we tend to freeze. We tend to not be able to think very clearly. So I would love to give you some tips today. So one of the things we need to do is to alleviate our stress. So think about what are the 1 or 2 things that would alleviate your stress if you didn't have to do them. And then if you can't give that job to someone else, you've at least identified the problems that cause you most stress. So have a think about that. What are the things, what's the 1 or 2 things in your life right now that cause you the most stress? And the first question I would ask you is, can you give that job to somebody else? Can you ask for help? Can you outsource? And if not, if you have to do that yourself and it seems too overwhelming, what is the very first step that you have to do to get that job done? And just think about that first step. So for instance, I've been helping a family recently who has lost their home due to floods and they're in complete overwhelm. They've had to go and go and clean all the flood damage, get rid of all the furniture from the house, from their storage containers. They've had to rip down their own walls in their house. They've had to do this all themselves. And I went round there the other day and the guy who owns the house was in his container and he was trying to reach the top shelves around this big fridge. And I watched him struggle for a couple of minutes and then I didn't want to interfere. And then I said to him, hey, wouldn't it be better to take that fridge out and then we can get the high stuff? And he was like, oh, great idea. And then that's what we did. The thing is, because he's in so much overwhelm, he cannot think straight. He cannot critically think. He's in overwhelm and he's just doing, just trying to survive in this moment. And that's quite a drastic thing to go through, flood, but we have all gone through so much over these last few years. And whether it's something really dramatic or whether it's prolonged, we have this same response to overwhelm. So just think about if you can delegate something to someone else, if you can ask for help. And if you can't, then think, what is the 1 thing that you can do right now to take a step towards that, to getting that job finished? The second thing would be to set your boundaries around your time. Some of these jobs could take hours or weeks or months or maybe years to complete. For this family that I'm helping, it's going to take a very long time because we have to strip out their old house, take all the walls out, rebuild and then buy or resource furniture for them before they can get their kids in. So this is something that cannot be done in one day, it cannot be done in 1 week. It's something that's ongoing, and it's really, really important that we realize that we're not superhuman and we need time to rest and recuperate as well. So maybe if you've got a job this big, maybe give yourself times during the day, times where, and give yourself, make it a job. Say, okay, between 9 and 5, this is when I go and do the building, and this is when I go and source the furniture, and this is when I go and do this and try and get the insurance, or whatever it is for you. And the rest of the time is downtime, because when our brain is in hyper alert like this, we cannot think straight. So it's really, really important that we start to rest. And the more rest we get, the more our brain calms down and we're able to help ourselves even more. And the third step would be, I mentioned it before, to outsource or delegate. It's really, really important that when we're in such a state of overwhelm, we feel that we can ask for help. So I hope that helps you. I'm hoping that you're not in this same situation as my friends, but I know many people in the area that I'm living in are in this situation. And so I hope this helps you in some way. Know that it's completely normal to feel overwhelmed. And even if you're not in a flooded area or flood affected area right now, COVID itself and all that comes with that, all of the lockdown, will put most of us in this situation at some point. So just know that when we are in overwhelm, when we are overwhelmed with life, it's because our brain cannot function, our brain cannot critically think all of the actions that need to be taken to get this thing done. So break it down into small achievable parts, even if it's just doing one thing a day to get you to your goal. And I hope that helps. It will help you if you apply this. So if you're in overwhelm, stop, take a deep breath. And just ask yourself the question, what is the one thing that you can do right now today to take you to the next step? And do that. And then tomorrow, reset. What is the next thing that you can do to get your goal? And keep working like that until you can think more critically, you can think straighter. So I hope that helps you, and thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.